Hey, there. I'd love to chat with you about FTP and SFTP. They sound similar, but I have heard there are some key differences between the two, so what is FTP and SFTP?
FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol, which is a standard network protocol used to transfer files from one host to another over a network. SFTP stands for Secure File Transfer Protocol, which is a secure version of FTP that utilizes SSH, secure shell, to encrypt data before transmitting it over a network.
So, what's the main difference between FTP and SFTP?
The main difference between FTP and SFTP is security. FTP is not secure and sends data in plain text, which can be intercepted and read by anyone with access to the network. On the other hand, SFTP uses encryption to protect the data being transferred and ensure that it can only be read by the intended recipient.
Can you explain how encryption works in SFTP?
Sure. Think of encryption as a secret code that only the sender and receiver can understand. When you use SFTP to transfer a file, the data is first encrypted on your computer before being sent over the network. The recipient then uses a key to decrypt the data and read the file. This makes it much harder for someone to intercept and read the data while it's being transmitted.
Are there any other differences between FTP and SFTP?
Yes, there are a few other differences worth mentioning. For example, FTP uses two separate channels for communication, one for commands and one for data, which can sometimes cause issues with firewalls and network settings. SFTP, on the other hand, uses a single channel for both commands and data, which can make it easier to configure and use. Additionally, SFTP supports a wider range of authentication methods than FTP, which can be useful for securing access to sensitive files.
Which one should I use, FTP or SFTP?
If security is a concern, and it should be, then you should definitely use SFTP. It's the more secure option and will ensure that your data is protected during transit. That being said, FTP is still widely used and can be a good option for transferring non-sensitive files or for situations where security is not a major concern.
Is SFTP always better than FTP?
Not necessarily. While SFTP is generally more secure than FTP, it can also be slower and more resource-intensive due to the encryption process. In some cases, FTP may be faster or more practical to use. Ultimately, it depends on your specific needs and priorities.
Okay, got it. Thanks for explaining the differences between FTP and SFTP.
You're welcome. Always happy to chat about tech topics.